What if the Earth becomes uninhabitable? Does it mean life will end for people here, or are there other habitable planets in the galaxy to replace Earth? Looking at the rapid pace at which we're destroying nature, we might need to find an alternate soon. Human pressure on nature has multiplied in the last 50 years, and we are guilty of depleting our resources and disturbing the natural ecosystem. As a result, nature has lost its capacity to support life on Earth, leading to a sharp decline in air and water quality, fertility of soils, and pollination of crops. As the Earth's population grows, consumption has increased by 45% per capita since the 1970s. With soaring demands for resources like food and water and timber, the material flows from nature without any hopes of restoration. Did you know humans have directly altered at least 70% of Earth's land to grow plants and raise cattle? With the speed at which modern humans are facilitating deforestation, loss of biodiversity, degradation of land, and pollution, it wouldn't be surprising that nature gives up on us altogether. So what will happen when Earth becomes uninhabitable? Fortunately, astronomical advancements have opened new doors, allowing scientists to identify planets similar to Earth and fit for habitation. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, has 200 to 400 billion stars, and estimates point to hundreds of billions of galaxies in the universe. This would result in the existence of more than 10 sextillion stars. Considering that each star has its own planets, the chances of life outside of Earth seem more than possible. In fact, there may be planets even more ideal for human civilizations to thrive and grow. While the massive expanse of the universe is at our disposal, we are currently limited by our time's technology, which allows us to study some planets from afar. Regardless, scientists have identified several planets that may be more habitable than others. Stay tuned to explore the best candidates. Kepler-186f is the first Earth-sized extrasolar planet to be found within its star's habitable zone. The habitable zone is described as the area around a star where it's not too hot or cold for liquid water to exist on the surface of a planet. The habitable zone is also called the Goldilocks zone. To understand this concept better, imagine if Earth replaced Pluto. The sun would hardly be visible, and almost all the oceans on Earth and its atmosphere would freeze from lack of heat. On the flip side, if Earth were to take Mercury's place, the distance between the sun and the planet would be too little, resulting in all the water on Earth forming a steam atmosphere and simply boiling off. Thus, the distance between Earth and Sun is precisely what is required for water to remain liquid. Kepler-186f was discovered in 2015, and being the first Earth-like planet, it gave scientists hope of finding more similar planets in the universe. The planet is about 500 light-years away from Earth and around 10% larger than our planet. There are 4 other planets in orbit with Kepler-186f, but they're moving much faster, making them too hot to be considered an Earth-like twin. If Kepler-186f lies in the habitable zone, can it support human life? Not necessarily. The major difference between Earth and Kepler-186f is the Sun both planets orbit around. The Sun Kepler-186f orbits around is a red dwarf star. Now, red dwarf stars make up almost 70% of all the stars in our Milky Way, but they're much cooler than other stars. This means Kepler's sun is far dimmer than ours, only giving the planet 1/3 of the energy we receive from our sun. NASA officials compared the two planets, saying that the red dwarf star's brightness at noon on the surface of Kepler-186f would be similar to that of the sun an hour before sunset on Earth. Hence, if we were to imagine life on Kepler-186f, the way our sun regulates weather, ocean currents, seasons, and climate would not be possible. Let's move on to our next Earth-like planet that may just save the day. TRAPPIST-1e. What if we told you that scientists set out to find one Earth-sized planet, but ended up finding 7 planets orbiting a single star? The TRAPPIST-1 is an ultra-cool dwarf star. and the system is about 40 light-years away from Earth in the constellation Aquarius. The 7 Earth-sized exoplanets are called B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. The one closest to TRAPPIST-1 is labeled B, and H is the farthest away. Now, out of the 7 planets, G and B are 10% larger than Earth, while D and H are 25% smaller than our planet. TRAPPIST-1e is the closest to Earth in size and lies safely within the habitable zone. So, does this mean we can move to TRAPPIST-1e when things start going south? Researchers believe that most, if not all the exoplanets face their star keeping one side at all times. This occurrence is called tidal locking, and it's similar to what we observe with our moon in relation to the Earth. Did you know that we always see the same side of the moon? The planets in TRAPPIST-1 experience the same exact phenomenon. Therefore, one of their sides is always hidden behind a shadow. But unlike our moon, the other sides of the planets may never see the sun. Regardless, TRAPPIST-1e lies in its star's Goldilocks zone, and researchers believe it could have a climate similar to Earth. And the exciting part is that if you stand on the surface of one planet, you would be able to see the other planets in the system. Can you imagine the possibility of interplanetary trips being completed in mere days on TRAPPIST-1, unlike in our solar system, where it is only possible in months or even years? Instead of saving up for a world tour, people could venture out of space for a planet's tour. Kepler-62f. Now here's another super habitable planet, and it's only 1,200 light-years away from Earth. NASA discovered the planetary system featuring Kepler-62f in 2013 and labeled it Super Earth. It is located at the outermost position of 5 planets that orbit around a star much smaller and cooler than our Sun. And the biggest highlight of Kepler-62f is its size, which is almost 40% larger than Earth. Now, can you imagine how that would solve our current problems of overpopulation? In addition to its massive size, researchers believe this planet is likely to be rocky and could have oceans, making it an ideal candidate for a habitable planet. Atmospheric carbon dioxide plays a vital role in maintaining liquid water on the surface of a planet. For example, on Earth, carbon dioxide makes up 0.04% of the atmosphere, but Kepler-62f is much farther away from its star, meaning it would need more carbon dioxide to keep the planet warm enough and prevent it from freezing. Hence, the team who discovered the planet ran computer simulations to determine carbon dioxide concentrations in its atmosphere. The results show that Kepler-62f could be habitable in many scenarios. And this brings us to our final candidate, which may be even better for life than on Earth itself. Are you ready to find out? KOI 5715.01 is the top contender on our super habitable planet list. But the only problem is that you can't visit anytime soon, since it is 3,000 light-years away. It exists in its star's habitable zone, so conditions wouldn't be too hot or too cold for sustaining life. Do you wonder what exactly scientists look for in a planet to consider it super habitable? Apart from being in the Goldilocks zone, they're always searching for planets with a mass of up to 1.5 times that of Earth, and they should be at least 10% larger than our planet. The reason for this size difference is the planet's ability to retain heat, and if we look at KOI 5715.01, its average temperature is about 8 degrees Fahrenheit higher than Earth. This means the planet is capable of even more biodiversity compared to ours. Although KOI 5715.01 checks all the right boxes, its massive size, which is almost twice the size of Earth, certainly exceeds the condition of a minimum 10% increase. But that also means much more land for life to thrive on compared to our current situation. Earth orbits around a G-type main sequence star, also known as a yellow dwarf star. These stars have a lifespan of 10 billion years until they expand into red giant stars and consume the planets around them. The Earth's sequence star has been around for 5 billion years, which means the same time is left before it devours our planet entirely. However, KOI 5715.01 orbits an orange dwarf star, and these stars are smaller and more stable than our Sun. In some cases, the orange dwarf star can exist for up to 70 billion years, which means the planets around this star have more chances of survival. Have you decided which planet you will choose when the time comes? It's time to land back on Earth, but before you step off this spaceship, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and remember to press that bell icon. Thanks for watching.